In this episode, we're traveling back to Eternia to look at some weird, rare, and awesome products from the 1980s. So, stick around. Hello everybody and welcome to Days of Dorker Past. My name is Rob and in this episode we're going to take a look at some Masters of the Universe products from the 1980s that are weird, rare, and awesome. Without further ado, let's kick this party off with a birthday cake topper. This cake topper came with the classic licensing artwork of He-Man. What kind of stands out here is place numerical here? That's just a weird way of saying put number here, but it came with the numbers 1 through 10 so you could celebrate which birthday it is for your kid. But it only came with 1 through 10? What if you're 11 or 12, 16? I guess He-Man just isn't for you. Number 2 on the list, banks. Now, what's great about banks of the 80s, and I'm sure 90s, and maybe even today, but they are just miniature plastic statues. They are great decorations, and they would look beautiful on anyone's shelf. Now, these two banks came from HG in 1983, and they are superb busts of He-Man and Skeletor. I mean, look at the package. It's fun to save money with Skeletor. What more do you need to say? That's a selling point right there. What's really great about these, they just look like super blown up versions of the actual head sculpts from the toys. I mean, they look awesome. The only thing that's a little creepy about them is it's only half a head. So if you turn it around, yeah, it looks a little weird. Number 3, Paint by Numbers by Craft House. Released in 1983, there were 2 different sets of 4 different pictures, and these are some of the most classic pieces of artwork from Masters of the Universe at the time. Like I mentioned with the candles, there was a licensing pack that went out that had all this great artwork. I mean, it's beautiful, and a lot of companies jumped on and just mass-produced this artwork, either it be sheets and pillowcases, school binders, or in this case, paint by numbers. Paint by numbers was a huge trend back in the 70s and 80s. It allowed everybody to feel like an accomplished artist when they were finished, and all you had to do was match the number with the color. I don't even know if they make paint by numbers anymore. I mean, I've seen it with markers and stickers, but it really isn't the same thing. But these 2 sets, I just love the picture of He-Man getting ready to toss Beastman off a cliff. I mean, nothing says heroics like homicide. Number 4 on the list is another product by HG, and that is zipper clips. These are awesome. From what I can find, there were 3 to choose from. You had He-Man, Skeletor, and Stinkor. I mean, dude, Stinkor? How awesome is that? I would be wearing him on my winter coat right this minute. I mean, what a conversation starter. What a status symbol. What a fashion icon. Now, number 5 on the list is a staple from our childhood, and that is Bubble Bath. There were 4 different styles to choose from. You had He-Man, Skeletor, Hordak, and She-Ra. Other than their very uncomfortable looking poses, these are awesome additions to any shelf nowadays. They just look great. These were just great little statues of two of the best heroes from our childhood and two of the best villains. Number 6 on the list, Toothpaste Toppers. Made by Colorforms in 1984, these really odd little things actually look super awesome because they look like direct head sculpts from the toys. It's kind of like they had a box of heads laying around and they just decided to poke a hole in the top and let the toothpaste flow. Now, it is a little odd because, I mean, like you're squeezing their brain out. No delicate way to put that. I mean, were these the only toothpaste toppers that they ever made? I'm going to have to check this out. Oh, God. What? No! Next on the list are Sun Charmers, made by Craft House in 1983. These little plastic paint sets allowed you to bring the delicate beauty of stained glass into your own home. There were 3 different sets to choose from, and they brought such awesome characters to life such as Ram Man, Merman, Evelyn, Teela, and Battle Armor He-Man and Skeletor. And let's not forget, Man-E-Faces. I remember at one time, these type of sets were all the rage. Now, I don't think they were super popular with the cool kids, but I remember seeing all different makes and models from all the top brands out there. And I thought they were pretty awesome, and I never got any. As usual. Now, number 8 on the list allows you to know what time it is, and that is HeMan Time. These are wall clocks. These clocks were produced in 1984, and there were 2 different styles, each with a reversible face. The first had He-Man, and on the reverse side had He-Man battling Beastman. The second one had Skeletor with the reverse side of He-Man and Beastman yet again. So you had your choice between a blue or a red framed clock with that you could change the face. I mean, that's pretty cool, pretty innovative at the time. And they were made with the finest of Swiss quartz. Next on the list is an item that I always wanted. And it didn't matter if it was Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, or any of the other awesome brands out there. And that was a Hideaway Tent. This hide and sleep tent came out in 1984, and this was one of the kind that would go on your bed, and like it advertises, playhouse during the day, a sleeping tent at night. Now, I know, and I'll get to it in a future installment, that there was an awesome Masters of the Universe playhouse, but like I said, we'll get to that another day. This time, we're focusing on this play and sleep tent, because look at the awesome artwork on it. I mean, it had the Land Shark, one of the most awesome of evil vehicles from Skeletor. And it featured one of my favorite Masters of the Universe heroes, Roboto. So, I mean, just awesome. Number 10 on the list, step aside Garfield, out of the way Mickey Mouse. We now have one of the most iconic 80s telephones of all time. And that's the Masters of the Universe phone, released in 1983. This phone featured an awesome piece of artwork of He-Man, which, like most of it, was that classic licensing artwork. He stands atop a brownstone pedestal, and what is that by his feet? Why, it's the Power Sword in gold. Why, that's the phone! Every time you pick up to use this phone, you are wielding the Power Sword, and you have the power! Anyway, that was just a quick look at 10 weird, rare, and awesome Masters of the Universe products from the 1980s. It's the second part. If you want to view the first part, I'll add it to the description below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I'm having a little off night, but I hope it didn't come through in the video. But hey, that's life, and the show must go on. But if you did like this episode, give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this episode, or any of the ones that YouTube is recommending down here, hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So, until next time, everybody, keep being rad and stay dorky.